the Sky News Centre, this is Paul Murray Live.
Thank you very much for watching. Thank you to Alan, to Peter and to Andrew Bolt. What an evening it is this evening. Malcolm Turnbull's Prime Ministership is over. Last night we didn't know what was going to happen. Tonight we do know what happened, which is that Peter Dutton, from a standing start with no leaking from Cabinet, not too many friends in the media, was able to get 7 votes away from the Prime Ministership of this country. Malcolm Turnbull is now facing a phalanx of ministers who are beginning to resign. Now, the narrative of the Turnbull supporters is that this is all low-ranking stuff. The people who were pushing back here are the long-term disaffected Conservatives. That's a lie. Most, if not all, of the people who have offered their resignations at this moment all got promotions under the Prime Ministership of Malcolm Turnbull. These are people who have the principle to give up the white car for the good of their party, for the good of the millions of people who believe in centre-right conservative politics. These people can see what is coming because they've seen 38 news polls. They've seen Ipsos, where the primary vote is at 33%, and they have all, in a secret ballot, fronted the Prime Minister and showed their hand and said, "Sir, we no longer believe in you. I can't work for you if I am willing to vote for an alternative leader." Those who support Malcolm Turnbull will pretend that this is a rump of people who've always hated him, a rump of people who have used anything possible to build up an atrophy, a hate, and this is all an act of revenge. That is a lie. Peter Dutton is 7 votes away from the Prime Ministership because of the political judgment of this Prime Minister. It was not the evil 2014 budget that made a man who was sky high in the polls wait until an election in 2016. It was not the evil knuckle-draggers of the Liberal Party who saw this man burn all of his political capital by suggesting that everything was on the table when it came to tax reform, before slowly but surely every single thing was taken away. It was not the evil, disaffected, pissed-off former ministers who decided to call an 8-week double disillusion federal election campaign where the chief advocate and funder of the Liberal Party knocked off at lunchtime. It was not the right-wing media who refused to come out on election night and recognise the beating that he had brought upon his colleagues. It was not the evil ball and chain of Conservatives that meant it took a week in that election campaign for the Liberal Party to produce a television ad pushing back against Mediscare. It was not Conservatives, the Delcons, the Albertines, the disaffected, the people who weren't promoted, that decided, when the Labor Party had its troubles when it came to dual citizenship, that the replacement elections for those people would take 11 weeks to take place. It was not the regressive, evil cancer of yesterday who decided the great political move was to give Bill Shorten a reason to cancel or put off at least, a federal Labor conference where the divisions of Labor around border security would have been on show. It wasn't Andrew Bolt, Peter Credlin or Paul Murray who said that even when they started to lose those by-elections, when polls started to show they were going backwards, that this was a referendum on leadership. When to win any of those by-elections would have meant the government was doing something that a government hasn't done for over 100 years. And it wasn't the knuckle-draggers who forced a Prime Minister to, even when everyone was paying attention to leadership, make an offer to the Senate where the banks won't get the tax cut being offered to other corporations in order to get a policy that has been roundly rejected by the people through the Senate, and even then, it's going to fail. Peter Dutton has for a long time been the hope of the side because I believe that the path to the Prime Ministership for a Liberal minister now is to go through the process of defending our borders. I believe that the task that Scott Morrison performed and ably followed up by Peter Dutton is the perfect metaphor for everything this country needs in a leader. Someone who is willing to push back against the bureaucracy who says it can't be done. Somebody who is willing to push through an activist media who tries to scandalise every single part of the policy that you put in place. And it shows a strength of heart, not a hard heart, to be able to defend our borders. Because a nation without borders is not a nation. It's just a joint with a cricket team. Now, I have no idea what will happen in the coming days. But I want you to think about this if you are a Liberal MP and if you are a Liberal supporter. Malcolm Turnbull made choices that destroyed 14 people's careers. They all left the Parliament. Malcolm Turnbull said there was no place in Australian politics for Pauline Hanson. And she ended up not just coming with herself, but another senator from Queensland, one from New South Wales and one from Western Australia. The crossbench went from a difficulty to a virtual impossibility. And it was Malcolm Turnbull who has burnt every single ally he has ever had in the pursuit of saving his own backside. I would never vote for Bill Shorten. I don't want Bill Shorten to be the Prime Minister of this country, but Bill Shorten is correct that when you're not willing to die in the ditch for the things you most believe in, what do you believe in? What's the point? Now, history tells us that there will be a second strike against a wounded Prime Minister. It has to happen. The bloke from the standing start who wasn't leaking from Cabinet, who wasn't able to build the case that Turnbull was able to do against Abbott, that Rudd was against Gillard, that Keating was against Hawke. He's 7 votes away. So those 7 people, whoever you are and wherever you are, do you honestly think Malcolm Turnbull's got your back? Or will he trade you away like he's traded away everyone else to save his own arse?